Hello, I'm Claire Smith and welcome to my channel. So today I've got a bit of a fragrance haul for you. I've really actually been trying not to buy too many fragrances, but these three have just slipped through the net. They're ones that I just couldn't help picking up because either they're discontinued, or they're things that I've been thinking about for a long time, or they're things that I have hazy memories of and I wanted to retry. So the first fragrance is actually one that I thought was discontinued, and I was shocked when I saw it online. I thought I'd missed it. But when I got reading about it, I realised that it's been reformulated and relaunched, and that's why it's now available again. So this fragrance was actually reformulated to remove the leather note and also to add in a peach note. And I thought, oh, that's not going to work for me. I've got issues with peach. So I searched out an original formulation and I finally found one. So this is Valentino Donna. So this is the original fragrance, the original pillar fragrance to the more famous, really, Born in Roma flanker. I would say that this fragrance is really the least crowd pleasing of the bunch. This one is the one that if you don't like powdery fragrances, you're really not going to like this. It's something that is really not that sweet. It's more like a loose face powder kind of iris fragrance. It also has quite a woody patchouli. And whilst there is a little bit of rose, I'd say that the rose is really not dominant in the slightest in this fragrance. The rose is just really gentle and it sort of almost fades into the background. And I think that's a bit of a shame because I think this fragrance would be nicer if the rose was slightly more dominant. So I bought this because it's supposed to have a leather note in it. And I would say for me, the leather note is really not that prominent. I wouldn't even say it's reaching the levels that it's in the Coach EDP fragrance. And really there, it's very, very background as well. But this here, I think if you don't like leather, I wouldn't worry about it because you're not going to smell it in this fragrance. I think for me, this one actually smells really quite musky. So this fragrance is really quite long lasting and it does project quite a bit. So overall, I think this fragrance is quite pretty. I think it's quite elegant. It's something that is just a good one to wear when you don't know what to wear. It's not really making any kind of big statement. It's something that's just going to make you smell pretty, basically. This one is really not how I expected this fragrance to be. I was expecting it to be a lot more rosy, a lot more leather, and just not as powdery as this fragrance really is. I think it's quite elegant. I think it's, a useful fragrance if you were going to a wedding or something like that. It's something for that kind of occasion. It's something where you want to just smell put together, clean, elegant. And I can see that it is something that somebody could love. I just don't think this one is me. And I'm not sure whether it will stay in my collection long term. I think it's just not, there's something about this that I'm just not jiving with. And had I smelt it in a shop, I probably wouldn't have bought it. And I'm not sure whether I'll keep it long term. I definitely won't run through this 50ml bottle for sure. I'm glad to have tried this, but I just don't think it's me. So that's Valentino Donna. So the next one, I've no idea what's going on. I must have turned into some kind of 90s nostalgic person, but there's something weird going on. So I heard Steph Toms talk about this one absolutely months ago, maybe even a year ago, and I went to try it. And ever since then, I've been trying it every time I go in the store and I see it. I kept trying it and I wasn't going to buy it. And then I saw Chantal Tiffany buy it and I thought, oh, do you know what? It's okay to buy this fragrance now because Chantal's bought it. But there's something about this fragrance that I just can't stop sniffing. And I don't know why, because it's so old school smelling. And that's not normally me, but this one has just got me. So this is Cerruti 1881. It's the Eau de Toilette. I think they only made an Eau de Toilette. This fragrance came out in 1995. And let me tell you, it smells like it came out in 1995. This one is such a powdery, floral fragrance. It's something that I never thought that I would be totally in love with. But this is definitely my favourite of these three in this haul. This is hands down the one that I've been wearing the most, the one that it's just got me. I don't know what it is. It's something that makes me think of cottagecore. It's just, there's something about this fragrance. I don't know what it is. So this fragrance, there's loads of fuss about it being reformulated. So you can tell whether you've got a reformulated one or whether you've got an original one from the cap. The new reformulated ones have this silver cap. The older ones have like a marbled style cap. I'll put a picture up. So this fragrance, there's something just like addictive about it. And I totally I totally get what people mean about like vintage fragrances now. There's something in those musks, there's something weird about when it smells a little bit dirty. So this is, overall, this is a super clean floral fragrance, something that is just so, it's kind of like fresh and almost aquatic feeling when you first spray it. And then it just transforms into this powdery, sort of nondescript floral mix where, okay, there are a few florals that stand out, but there, if you look at what's actually in this fragrance, it's just a crazy amount of different florals. I'll tell you the ones that I think I can pick out. So I think initially it smells like chamomile tea to me with a bit of lily of the valley. And then eventually that chamomile, that sort of like greenness dies down a little bit and it goes more into the yellow floral powderiness of mimosa. The mimosa is really quite prominent. And I also smell a sort of a light, fresh pink rose in this fragrance, really fresh and bright and not sweet at all. Yeah, but there's also that weird musky thing going on where you're like, was that a dirty musk? Was that a clean musk? Was that dirty musk? And you keep sniffing because you can't quite work it out. I get the same thing, but with indolic florals in Gucci Bloom Tari de Fiore. It's something that just makes you keep sniffing it because you're not quite sure what you're smelling. And it doesn't ever get to the point of dirtiness. It doesn't ever quite get to something I don't like. But there's something just a little bit, I don't know, a little bit something about this fragrance. I don't know. So my husband hates this one because he says that I smell like an old lady. I didn't say that. He said that. And I get what he means. I get that it's a little bit old school, but it just makes me think of like floral dresses. It makes me think of, you know, people in Laura Ashley, basically. So if you look at the bottle and you look at the frosted kind of pink liquid in the bottom, this is really how this smells to me. It smells kind of powdery and opaque and floral, and that's really, you know, completely representing the vibe of this fragrance. How 90s it is as well, with this kind of colouring, this kind of peachy pink colouring is also so 90s. It's something that makes me think of floral wallpaper, that makes me think of, it just makes me think of chintz. There's something really oddly like country kitchen about this. So this fragrance is super cheap. You can get it, I think I got a 50ml bottle for £15, and honestly, I've had my joy out of this one already. I've been wearing this so much recently. I cannot put this one down. There's something really strange about this fragrance, strangely addictive. It just makes me feel really pretty and girly, and I think that's why I can't put this one down. So that's a Cerruti 1881, one to go and try and to relive the 90s with. So the third fragrance is one from KVD, and it's Sinner, and this is also one that I've seen Chantal Tiffany buy in the last few months, I think. And I think she ended up quite liking this one. Can't quite remember. But yeah, I mean, I've been looking out for this one for absolutely ages. And the reason I've only just bought it is because it's something that has really rocketed in price. It's been discontinued. If you see a fragrance that's about to be discontinued and you're vaguely interested in it, just go and get it, because you know that price is going to go through the roof. So this one I definitely wouldn't overpay for. This one used to go for sort of something like less than £20. Nowadays, for a full bottle, 50ml bottle, this is a 30ml, you can pay anything up to about £70 for it. Definitely don't pay £70 for this fragrance. £20, that's about its price. It's something that is a celebrity fragrance. It's something that is just a bit of fun. This, for me, straight out of the bottle, without spraying it, smells a lot like Narciso for her EDP, and that worried me because I didn't like that fragrance. There was something really badly plasticky about it. It had peach, it had patchouli. It's that killer combo for me that just is no. This one does not smell like that when you spray it. So when you spray it, you get more of the plum note. It smells more like something more boozy, something almost like Secret Obsession by Calvin Klein, something a bit like that initially. And Secret Obsession, whilst I didn't like that fragrance in the main, the opening with the plum is amazing. It's something that really smells quite boozy. It smells like sherry or port, something like that. This one has a similar vibe, but with this one you get more of that patchouli, and the patchouli has a really kind of a feeling like Midnight Poison. This is the patchouli that's in Midnight Poison. So other than the plum and the patchouli, there is also quite a strong white floral in this, which I think is what makes it so sort of mysterious and a little bit seductive. And there's also an underlying sweetness, I think maybe from some vanilla, and there's also a muskiness to this fragrance, but there's also some kind of warmth to it as well. So if you see this fragrance for a reasonable price, would I suggest you pick it up? Yeah, I think if you like things like Midnight Poison, if you like Narciso for Her, I would suggest that you grab this one. I think it's at a reasonable price. This is a good impression of those fragrances and can really fill that hole that's been left by Midnight Poison. It's something that definitely has that sort of similar gothic vibe to it, but it's just not quite as dark as Midnight Poison or as addictive. But yeah, it's along the same line. So that's Sinner by KVD. So that's the final fragrance. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy the video, please press the like button, and please also consider subscribing if you haven't done already. Please let me know if you tried any of these fragrances and what you think of them. And also let me know if you also want to go back to the 90s and whether you love that flowery powderiness that I seem to be really into right now. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.